Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up number 44, part 2. If you haven't checked out part 1 yet and you're wondering, why do I have all these chips? Go check out part 1. I'll have a link up on the screen here. Go check out part 1. I've been playing this $50 tournament in Ultimate Poker. There are 47 runners. We are currently the chip leader. That's right. Average stack is only 5,600 and we have about 3 times that. Going to be calling here, don't see why not. This guy is probably pretty strong, but we're getting such a great price that I think even with this kind of garbage hand, we can still make a profit calling here. I wouldn't hate it if you were an amateur and wanted to fold, especially if you knew this player and knew this player to be like, particularly tough, or something like that. But I don't know any of those things, so I decided to call and just give this guy an extra 200, but I don't really, doesn't bother me none. All right, so if you haven't checked it out, like I said, this is a $50 buy-in tournament from yesterday. There are 25 players remaining from the 47 original entrants. The blinds obviously are 100, 200 with 20 chip ante. I don't think there's anything I can know strategically or read-wise from yesterday. This player is brand new. I recognize Obama phone, but not by a lot. We've had some history with this King Kush guy. He had raised, we re-raised him once, and he just called. And then check folded on a 6-2-6 board. This guy's been kind of tight, done a couple of things that are a little unconventional, like this limp under the gun with his stack is a good example of that. Completed here with 10-8 offsuit. I think that's fine for 100. It's still likely going to get to see a flop, and I think mathematically that would be fine. Certainly folding to the shove with our 3 straight. That would be a kind of a sick call. I call. I have 3 in a row. What does that get me? Oh, nothing? All right. So the grind goes on. First place in this tournament right now is $791. I think Light Red is closed. That is what we're going to be playing for first. Not bad. Would do some work if we just crushed it, If we just somehow crushed it. Would be nice. It would be nice. We would certainly be, that would certainly be a Run It Up episode. If, or 3 apparently, if we could get there. So I'm going to do my best. We'll see what I can do. Obama phone all in under the gun here. I should probably load all the tables because there's only 3, right? So don't see why not. All right, I'm going to load those tables up here. Classic coin flip. Jacks hold up so far for Obama phone. I think I'm actually rooting for AJ and OK just because I know this guy and I don't know this guy. So it's more likely that Obama phone is good. But, it's obviously very tiny and insignificant. I'm not going to run all the all-ins at all the tables, but we did just lose another player. So it looks like we're down to 23 players remaining. They're falling fast, boys and girls. Might even be 22. I don't know if that counted yet. Last time, I don't think it did. Yep, 22 remain. Going to be raising here with A7 offsuit. If either of these short stacks shove, I'm definitely going to be calling. If Obama phone shoves, obviously we just have to fold. If he re-raises, I'll consider doing something aggressive, but much like the spot we went into with the 10-9 from last video, if you saw it, much like that spot, I think I would end up, even if I thought we were likely ahead, I'd be very tempted just to fold and not do anything too aggressive because I don't really want to put too much of this stack at risk when we're just getting so many good spots to put chips in the pot like this one. That risk so few of our chips comparatively to putting in like 6,000 with A7 offsuit here, So we're going to start with a bet. If he shoves, obviously we're quite happy about it, even though we might be behind to some strange hand. I tried to encourage him to call by betting kind of smallish there, betting only 300 into 11, but it's a hard flop to connect with, obviously, especially as someone who just called pre-flop. So we could have even argued about like 200, but I don't want to check back, that's for sure. And I think 200 is, pretty similar to 300 in terms of decisions on his part. So the game continues. Looks like King Kush gets moved from our right, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I think that, even though we have position on him, which is fine, you know what I mean? Having position on him makes me feel comfortable, obviously, and I think it's certainly fine for him to be there, given that we're on his left. But seeing him gone also removes the other competitor from the aggressor spot, so we can just pretty much sit here and click min raise all day long and just show a sweet profit against everyone at the table, pretty much. No one really wants to go broke. They have to pick up a hand to do anything about it, and we'll just keep risking 400 to win 460, and it's going to work more often than not. And we'll just keep sitting here picking up those chips. All right, 21 players remain. I think this could be a hand we could arguably fold if we had like 9 deuce, but given that we have ace 9, I think I can just attack here again. Once again, we're going to call all the short stack shoves. Maybe not Nicki Minaj over there. Like, we might have to fold to that. Even like a shove here, I would be like, I wouldn't love it, but I still think we'd end up having to call. Not for nothing, but even like if he shoves and we like snap call, it still sets a good tone. You know what I mean? It still sets a like we're not messing around kind of tone. Nikki decides to just call there, and that's a pretty sweet flop for us as pre-flop raiser. I think we're going to start here with a bet. 300 seems fine. Keeping it kind of small because, once again, it's at least somewhat likely that this player is just drawing dead if we are ahead. You know, if she just has no pair, we want to try to encourage her to stick around, but Nikki has other things going on and decides to get on out of here. So one of the advantages of having these other tables open is we see things like this, where Pew Pew Laser and I'm Trouble are going back and forth. And we're going to watch that and see how that ends up here. Looks like the other player folded. So interesting to note that that player was capable of opening and then 4-betting, not shoving. Kind of interesting. In this situation, I assume that we're ahead of this guy, but I don't know enough about Obama phone's opening to really have a clue. Like, we're probably slightly ahead here. We could even be very ahead here, but I'm not really sure what these two guys are getting in here with, so I just thought folding would be best. Looks like we made the correct decision, given that I don't think 2-10s were folding to our shove. And obviously it doesn't make a difference what he actually has, but I felt that I didn't really want to put in 6,000 chips against a guy who might be opening kind of tightly. Also, this guy could be shoving kind of tightly. Like, you know, we haven't seen that situation occur enough yet for me to be too confident. So we're actually down to 20 players now. People are really busting out of here, which is always great to see in the online poker tournament. You know, this isn't you know, this isn't 100K here. Even in 100Ks, people bust out of those so fast. Like, slow online poker tournaments, you know, obviously if you want to play a slow tournament, that's fine. But as like a standard, you know, come on, let's get the show on the road here. You know what I mean? All right. Looks like we will be opening if it folds to us. Even though I'm not loving it, I think that it'll still be profitable. Risking 400 to win 420, certainly fine. If dog avatar shoves, we would just fold, but I'm gonna have to call if NJK decides to shove. Just the math just dictates it. But I think, like, of all the players I'd be opening on with 1200 here, I feel most confident that this is gonna work in some way. Either he's gonna call or he's gonna just fold. Like, of all the players we've seen do this, we've seen this guy play weirdest out of his big blind. And I think that kind of bodes well for us, just having position and a big stack that we can just kind of go to town on it. Going to start here with a bet, 300, just like last time when we had ace-7. If he shoves, we just fold, of course. It's possible that he has hands like 6-7 or even like ace-jack, something like that, where we would maybe mathematically have the right price to call. Not against 6-7, obviously. But yeah, I would have just folded, and even if we were slightly ahead in some magical case. Certainly opening this. Same exact conversation with the small blind. And very similar to our last discussion about Obama phone, where if he did something aggressive, we would have probably just given him credit, because we're getting so many great opportunities to win chips that I don't need to put it in like 8K against the one guy over there when we're just kind of cruising, you know, and he's not even really doing anything too aggressive either. So feeling pretty good about our spot here. Hopefully our table isn't the one to break, because I kind of like this cast of characters that we've built here. I think I will fold this. I'll take this hand off. It'll buy us a little bit of credit, I think, that we're just not playing every single hand, even though everyone else is just expecting us to. They're just like, no, Jake Carver, please, just take it. I wanted to. I think we just fold 5-4 offsuit again. If it gets another walk, though, I'm not folding anything. If it gets another walk around, I am not folding anything for a little while, at least. You know, oh my god. Oh my god. Jay Carver, the nit, punished twice in a row. Everyone just doesn't know what to do without us raising. They're all just like, fold? No one knows what to do. Okay. All right. Finally, we get to fold a hand and feel good about it. NJK is like, I've had enough. I'm all in. Looks like they're going to probably be chopping here. NJK with a slight free roll. Just 2 spades away from the miracle. Not going to happen this time, though. good. Stick around. Great result for us, actually, because it kind of maintains that same dynamic, because NJK pretty much has the same stack he had. He actually improved his stack by like 20% or something like that, but effectively it's the same stack as he had, you know, a hand prior. I guess that changes now because the blinds went up, but prior to the blinds going up, that definitely was the case. I think we could arguably re-raise here and attack this, but we've only seen him open once and he had tens, and this isn't like a particularly super great spot to do it. I could re-raise and it would definitely encourage him to like back off a little bit, but I think you have to imagine that he's opening kind of tight. There's, you know, 3 guys that can just shove very easily, me who can just attack very easily. You know, like I anticipate that he is not just going to be in there with just like a random raise. I think I might re-raise this though, because this could be light for sure, and I think that we can definitely risk like 1900 here and show a profit pretty certainly. Like, we haven't seen this guy re-raise yet pre-flop. Is it possible that he just goes, I'm all in with like king 6 suited? Of course, it's certainly possible, but I think we show a profit risking 1900 there to win. I think we were risking it to win 2,030 chips, and it kind of just like, you know, puts him in his place a little bit, lets him just, you know, no, we're the chip leader, bud. You know, you can be wearing the headband, but we're Conor fucking McGregor. You know, get out of here with your under the gun light raising. You know. So I think that's a good thing too. Like, even if the mathematics of like what he's opening with and what he does to our re-raise, like even if that is really close, just kind of setting the tone of like, you know, you're raising? No. We do the raising. You know what I mean? Like, setting that tone, I think, has a good amount of value inherently as well. Pretty huge pot the other table. We're actually not chip lead because that pot was so big. Guy catapults into the chip lead. The guy with the guy that folded whatever he folded over there when the king 8 of hearts shove happened at the last in the last video. That guy who folded with has 24,000 chips. Mathematically here it's close, but I think we just fold. I mean, he's probably getting in there pretty widely. Mathematically speaking, it's probably actually a call. Changing my mind slowly on this. Our hand is so bad though. I mean, all right. I think we just fold. I don't love it, but I think it's okay. That might actually be a call. He's been so tight, you know? He's been so tight. I think we can open this. We'll get a little bit more credit for opening here because it looks like we're opening into 6 people when we're actually only opening into 5, or 4 rather. You know, because this guy is sitting here also, so people will give us a little bit more credit, maybe. You know, very slightly. The open is fine either way, I think. So looks like there is another, not quite elimination. 19 players remain. Great spot for us here. Could basically be clicking call any, because unless it goes shove, we're certainly calling. All right, fair enough. We're going to need some aces or hearts or queens and tens. Oh, ace from space. Ace from space. We'll get the job done. So we bust him down to 18 players. Still second place, but third place has 11,000 chips. Oh, we do move. That's unfortunate. All right. So, new table for us. Let's talk about who we know. Corky P-Dog was the guy just on our left. Jamming on Faces was the Nicki Minaj that was over here. Limey Brit, I think we played with at some point, but I'm not 100% on that. I think we played with him earlier in this tournament, but I'm not 100%. And, oh, King Kush. How could we forget King Kush over there? So just like the other time that we had re-raised him, I think this is another good spot to do it. I think that it just shows a profit often enough, either both in a vacuum here or he just calls and check folds too often. I think like this just works, you know what I mean? Apparently everyone knows what I mean. They're all just like, yep, it's yours. All right, let me ship that there, which is pretty sweet. Looks like there will be another elimination at the other table. So 16 players remain, 6 spots pay. This is a decision, given that we don't know this player at all, I don't really want to re-raise and then fold because mathematically speaking, I'm not really sure that's correct. I don't really want to call with all these players behind who can shove. Also, we could just be like, this guy could be the biggest nit in the world and just have like king queen plus every day, in which case we really don't want to be calling with king jack. If we had a hand like king queen or ace queen, I would probably be calling, but with king jack, it's like, very mediocre. Yeah, it's king jack, I'm not getting a bed for king jack offsuit, all right? We're gonna be here making videos. I'm not gonna call with king jack there. Looks like this player wasn't that strong because on a queen six deuce board he ended up just. I think we'll just fold this. On a queen six deuce or whatever it was, he just check folded, which is relatively tight given that you would expect the player that raised preflop to be the aggressor. Was this guy on our right for a while earlier as well? I know it was a guy with the Hannibal mask on, so I know that we were playing with someone that was that avatar who was on our right and was very stationy, but I don't know if that's this guy or not. I guess we'll think that it's maybe slightly more likely, but we'll see. I guess we'll find out soon enough. He did just call preflop for 900, which does imply some degree of stationness. All right, over to not under the gun just yet. I think we can fold. Don't see any reason to get too out of line here. 8-handed, I think it's fine. We just fold. People seem a little more aggressive here than our last table, which we had so well trained. So well trained. But looks like this table's got other plans, which is fine. We can just coast. We've got plenty of chips. How many chips are in play? Let's find that out. So there are 47 players, all of which started with 3,000 in chips. So that's not bad. We have 22.6 of 141,000 total. So we have like average stack with 7 players left. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, roughly, obviously, but pretty solid. So our plan going into the rest of this final 2 tables is just kind of put pressure on people where we can, open a little bit lighter in spots where it makes sense, like this obviously is a good example of that. If well, now I kind of wish I knew for sure if this guy was the stationy Sam or just some random. Interesting flop here. We have 2 decisions, whether we want to bet or check raise all in. I think I'm actually going to want to check raise all in. We saw him bet once when check 2 before. He decides to check back, which I'm okay with. I mean, I think we're going to bet here on turn now. I think 700 should get it done. If he has anything I'm trying to get him to fold a hand like 6s or deuces or 4s here. We have the best hand a good percentage of the time, and I don't think he's ever folding a king or a jack on the turn, obviously, but I also think those hands bet flop some percentage of the time. So I felt pretty good about that little bet there. If the current chip leader loses this pot, we will become the chip leader. We will retake the throne. Limp and blimp. Great spot for one of these short stacks to move in if you have much, because you would guess that one of these players that, you've got a great price to get in there if you have anything. We flopped a pair. Could argue to lead. That would also be fine. If it ever checks through here, I'm really sad, but situations like this, I'm obviously very glad that I didn't bet. Because if it goes bet call or bet raise, or actually bet anything, then obviously our hand is probably not good. I think I'm going to call here, though. We could also argue shoving. That would be fine. But limp under the gun, bet this much, does kind of look strong-ish. And I think that if he has nothing, that it'll go check on turn some good percentage of the time. Also, cards like this might actually give us a chance to win the pot. If we think that it's possible that he's weak, maybe we could have tried to shove it and just stuff it in his face here, and just maybe he'll fold the hand better than ours. But I thought that the way that this guy might play, if he's the opponent I thought he was, that he would just check back on this turn, and I think that our plan makes some amount of sense. And I know I didn't bluff when that diamond came, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was going to work. I just didn't feel like I wanted to bluff. I thought that we had a good enough hand that if we checked, he was going to just check if he probably had no pair, and then we would just win. And that anything that he might even continue with hands better pairs than ours that have a single diamond, stuff like that. So I did decide to give up there, but I wanted to keep the option available if I was feeling it, you know? So we limped here, blind versus blind. I get min raised here when we bet. Certainly going to just call. Hopefully we just spike the 6 because aces are scary, blind versus blind. Not that I would be complaining, mind you, but nothing yet for us. We actually have the nut low, which is always where I want to be on the turn. Oh, great position to be in. I think we just fold, you know? I think we just fold and just say, all right, you got it, kid. You know, we put in 900 chips. I'm not really too committed to this pot in any way. Not getting a good price out of position. We do have the nut low. I think maybe if there was no flush draw, nah, that's not even true. I think I would fold there, just generally speaking. We're just too far behind too often and not in a great spot to get value anyway, because river is an ace, and we're like, yes, we have the nuts. But he is sitting there with like pocket sixes and is just like, oh, I lose to every ace now, and just folds. So I think that fold makes sense. So with two tables remaining and 15 players, I'll point out, we're going to definitely keep an eye on the other table now, and we're going to see if we can kind of detect anything over there. The only players left at this other table here, I guess I'll pull it over. The only players we know over here are Obama Phone. MDG Poker is that guy who was the villain of the hand we played with the King 8 guy. And I think we played with this guy for like a hand or two and no one else, I think. So that's the cast of characters here. 10-3 suited in a cutoff. I'm probably going to raise if folded to. I mean, this guy hasn't been reshoving at all. And, you know, if we have to call against this guy, whatever, who cares? You know, 2,000 chips, it's fine. Usually it just gets through, and it does here as well. So that worked out all right for us. Plan worked out. Probably folding the 7 deucer. Let's pull up a Dear J. Carver hand. I've been doing this thing, if you're not familiar with it yet. I've been reading, I opened up an email address where I let people write questions to me. If you've got yourself a burning question that you just need me to answer, write me an email, dearjcarver@gmail.com, and say, hey, Dear J. Carver, help me out here. I got something I want you to talk about. All right, I'll do it. Don't send me anything too personal because I can read anything on that email address. Please, I won't, obviously, if it's something like a personal story. There's plenty of other places to message me. I guess we just fold. All right, sure. I mean, I'm not going to read anything. If you can send whatever you want, but at least know that the intention is for me to read them on camera. So there's that. All right, let's read some questions here. Let's see this hand first, I guess. By the way, 14 players remain. We are still the chip leader. All right. Dear J. Carver, Steven writes, Dear J. Carver, I was wondering when Ultimate Poker will be available to users in the UK and Ireland. Thanks for the great videos, Steven. Well, thank you, Steven. I appreciate that. And I don't really know when. I know that we obviously would like to be available in as many markets as possible, given that we are a business. And I personally would love to do stuff in the UK and Ireland. Like, man, it would be great. I would love to. I would be the arrow, you know? I would be the point of the spear in the area. I would love to go visit, hang out, we do videos. Oh, it'd be great. I'm very excited about doing this. So I'm not sure exactly when. I don't know what the time frame on things, but I know that I would love to. Everyone else would love to. It would be a great time. So soon, I hope, you know. Until now, you'd have to just come visit us in Vegas and play when you're here. We picked that up here under the gun. I think it's fine. A little loose, obviously, but no one's really done anything about it. And until that happens... Oh, huge hand over here. Huge hand. 36,000 chip pot. This guy just got all in on the flop here and then just ripped it on the turn. Unfortunately for the former chip leader who's now crippled. In our hand over here, back in reality, under the gun limped, complete check. Certainly going to just be calling here. Ooh, interesting that he calls as well. So I'd guess that this guy either has an ace or a 10 or a 6. He could have a gut shot of some variety as well. This guy could have an ace better than ours, or he could have any kind of like combination of straight draws and things like that. Raising would certainly be viable. 4 is a pretty safe card. The only person that can be improved by a 4 here, sensibly, is this fella. I mean, there's not really too many hands that this 4 should be improving. All right. Well, we've got ourselves some decisions here. This guy limped under the gun, min bet flop, which could mean anything, but you know, probably could be strength, and now bombs the turn here. I think I'm gonna call, and it'll probably end up going check check on a lot of rivers. I mean, this is actually a pretty good one for us to potentially get it to go check check on, even if we're behind. I think he might check back a better ace here sometimes, like ace nine, stuff like that. He decides to bet, which is a little weird. I mean, it's hard to imagine this guy is like bluffing for his life, right? Like he's basically bluffing with his last 3,000 chips here. It's hard to imagine he's bluffing. I think I'm gonna end up just folding. I think that, you know, it's gonna go check check on river often enough if we're ahead. Like that hand feels very gross to me. I'm not really sure I like that turn call. Like it's possible we should just be folding the turn, right? But our hand looks so weak. Like we could have anything. We're in the big blind and we checked. Like, and now both of us called, so he can really squeeze us on that turn there with a big bet. So I thought that there was a chance that if we called turn, he'd just give up the game and just be like, all right, I give up now. Because most people don't bluff there twice. I think we just fold here. Most people won't bluff there on the river. So I felt like this is another weird hand between the solution, who has had the solution, I'll point out, against us a couple times. Like, I feel gross about that hand. Like, I feel gross about the turn particularly, but I actually think that the river makes sense. And the flop makes sense, obviously. We could check raise flop and then fold to a shove, which is gross, but, you know, definitely viable. Yeah, I guess that is the other option. 13 players remain, by the way. We'll point that out there. We're still in second place. I'm Trouble over there. The other guy with his head in the pickle jar is chip lead with 35,000. So that's 35,000 of the 140,000 in play. Another all in at the other table. Best hand wins. So down to 12 players. Someone's going to have to get pulled from a table. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, so someone gets pulled from our table here. Assuming that this happens like a normal poker tournament, would be this guy. Unless he goes bust here, which is certainly a possibility. A limey Brit or not. This is one of those magical hands of poker. Under the gun is somehow that was like 2 bets and it's like, oh, call. Okay. I don't know how this hand has happened this way, but I think we're gonna get to see 4 cards here. Let's see them. Kings and 9. 9 not going to cut it, I'm afraid. So pocket kings double up here with his tricky play of like limping or min raising or whatever he did with 2K there. He didn't shove, which is a little strange. Oh, we got moved. Sure. Why not? All right. So this table, let's evaluate this table. Let's open up the other one just so we have it. The other table is back open, so let's evaluate this table. We know this Vegas from me guy very briefly. He joined us. He was the guy that was like there at the table when he was with us. Obama phone we know. Poker Bob we've seen, but I don't think he's played a hand that we have watched. And this guy was the one with the 6-9 against the pocket 10s against the MDJ guy who has been eliminated, it seems. Sorry to see him go, I guess. King 9 suited, certainly going to be opening here. Got to be a little cautious because 3 people have shoving stacks, and this guy is obviously a big stack who might try to put pressure on us, much like we did before when we were the big stack. But we can't assume that anything is going to happen until we see it with our own eyes, which hasn't happened yet. Pretty good flop for us with the King 9 of puppy dog feet. Going to start out with a bet, certainly not folding if he decides to continue aggressively. I think 900 is fine. He decides to let it go. Worked out better than our last straight flush draw, am I right? If you watched the whole video series. King 8, definitely going to just be folding here. Under the gun is our weakest position, not just because it's under the gun, but also because I'm Trouble is on the button when we're under the gun. So we're going to be playing tighter than usual under the gun just because we're a little afraid of I'm Trouble over there. He's warning us that he's Trouble, so we should probably listen. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So with 12 players remaining and 9 players making the final table, let's look at the 3 shortest stacks in the room right now. I guess we'll look at that in a second. But at the other table, there's a guy with 1,400, 2 guys with 4K, and then No one at our table is shorter than anyone at their table. All right, so I think that I'm going to end up actually just calling. Maybe that's a mistake. Him not shoving, but raising. And as a guy that I recognize, this is scary to me. Like, this is scary. Like, why didn't you just shove? Like, are you really raise folding? Like, he's either raise folding or he's super strong, right? And I have a feeling that he's more likely going to be strong than like raise folding. So let's try to set mine here. It's possible that boards like this, he'll check back because they kind of hit us more than him. So if he has like something he was dealing with, maybe he'll check back, in which case I'll feel confident. But I actually think that I like how I played this hand. I think that he is more likely strong than weak, like we said. So I think that was fine. We're making a fairly big mistake if he has like ace-jack or something, but you would really expect that hand to not raise. You think that hand would shove more likely than anything else. So I think that makes, do I know for sure? Of course, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but. All right, so we saw I'm trouble, re-raise, and fold to the other guy at the other table. So I think we could arguably re-raise this here. This guy is certainly going to be raising pretty aggressively in this position. We could have made it a little bit bigger, actually. But I think this will still get the job done often enough. And if he calls, we'll just bet and still win the pot more than half the time post-flop. Interesting flop here. I think I'm going to start out with a check. I think checking makes sense. I don't really want to bet. I don't think better folds. It's going to be kind of awkward if he bets especially if he bets like 3,000 or 4,000, we would have been in an awkward situation. I think our hand is likely best here. I think I'm still going to try to like pot control this a little bit and just end up check calling. Certainly check calling now, whereas I was going to at least consider check raising all in on the flop. I think that I'm just going to check call at this point. King is an interesting river card. I think I'm going to bet now. Maybe there's a chance he'll call us with a 6 or a 5. It doesn't really seem particularly viable. I think I'm actually going to bet small. If he has nothing, he just folds and he doesn't see our hand, which is fine. If he has a king, he's never folding no matter what. And if we check, he's only going to bet more. 2 9s probably would have went check against his actual hand there, but let's think about that one. Could have just folded pre-flop, but we assume he's going to be raising a good amount because he should be. So maybe he's not, but we assume that he is at least somewhat likely to be. On the flop, check, check. I think that is fine. On the turn, we could have bet, but he's not folding, obviously, with his exact hand. And on the river, I think we got away. Like, we maybe lost 2,000 chips more than we should. Maybe we could have just checked river and he would just go check, check a lot. And it would have with his actual hand for sure. It would have saved us 2,000 chips. But I was afraid of us checking and him betting like 4K because he's not going to bluff at that point, right? Maybe we could have actually check folded. Maybe we could have just check decided. I'm not sure about that. That's another decision that I'm not 100% on, much like the one we had before. This one could be an aggressive open, but I think we'll just let this go. We did just re-raise and show down ace-7 offsuit, so people will at least kind of assume that we might be getting in there lighter. And we would be if we were raising with this hand. So 2 players at the other table have like nothing. One player has 25 chips and the other player has 1,000 chips. So that's what we're looking at over there. So once those 2 short stacks bust, which you would imagine will happen sooner rather than later, one of them is all in right now and out. So 11 players remain, 2 more to make the final table, but we don't cash till we hit 6. So we're going to have a little bit of work to do. Still folding under the gun here. Average stack is only 12,000, so it's not like we're under average, but feels like it because we've had so many chips for so long. We only lost like 5,000 chips total there, right? 3,000 pre-flop, 2,000 on the river. And I think our decisions were all like defensible, like, nothing too crazy. But much like we were talking about before, not wanting to get involved with Obama phone when he was on our left. Good spot for the bigger stack over there. You could argue that we should just not get involved with the other guy because he's a big stack as well, and again we have some decent spots to be aggressive, but we don't really have as many decent spots. I could have made it a little bit bigger pre, but that wouldn't have made a huge difference, I suppose. All right, pocket ace is going to need some help here because he is in trouble. Not this time though, which I'm relatively okay with. I mean, we're spawning another stack which is dangerous on our left, which actually covers us, which I'm not loving, but, you know, not like anyone asked our opinion, so nobody said, hey, Jay Carver, do you mind? No? All right. So 10 players remaining, 6 spots pay. I'll run the lobby over once this hand is over. Could raise this up. I think that's all right. Haven't seen this player play too much, so I think that making a raise here is likely going to just work right now. You know, he's really going to want to call 1,200 more out of position. He could re-raise, obviously, which would just, you know, we would just fold. But I think this works often enough that he'll either call and then check fold more often than not post flop, or just forfeit right now, in which case we're risking 1,200 to win 1,250, and I'm happy with that deal. All right, let's look at the lobby one more time. So 6 pays, 10 left, 4 minutes till the next blind level. Average stack is 14,000. We're right in the middle of the pack at 5th right now. 5th of 10. Let's just ship this thing, you know? Let's just win it. $791, that's it. We can just go on vacation, you know? It'll be easy peasy. It'll just crush it. How nice would that be? All right. Sorry about that. I'm glad I noticed that I wasn't recording the table. Hopefully I just did that. If not, you guys are going to have to figure out that I messed that up a while ago. I think it was fine. I've been glancing occasionally because I'm so worried that like one click changes so much, you know? I'm usually cautious. Hopefully you guys didn't watch me. Well, you wouldn't even watch. I'd probably edit it out, but hopefully nothing went wrong there. Gonna raise this up here, queen 10 clubs. I think it's fine. If Obama phone ships it, we're gonna probably have to fold. Looks like that will not be a decision this hand. Off to the flop we go with position and a decent hand. Pretty good start here. I think we're gonna bet 1,000 if check two. I think that's fine. He decides to bet, so we have a very easy way to combat this, which is just calling. We could raise, obviously, but if we had like ace queen, maybe we'd raise. I'm not really sure what this means. This could just be like a random stab, but I'm happy with just calling with our hand. Our hand plays really well just calling here. Plays even better when we have 3 of a kind, because it's even more likely that we have the best hand as of right now. So if he has a hand better than ours, like king, queen, queen, jack, ace, queen, pocket fours, pocket deuces, any of those hands, which would be really weird to bet the deuces and fours, you know, so be it. It just happens to happen. Certainly going to just call here, and if he shoves a river, you know, we don't have a choice. We have to call our hand. We could have 2 5s in this spot, right? Like, you know, we could have ace king in this spot, so we certainly couldn't fold trips. Given that he's checked to us now, I definitely believe our hand is good. I think we can't bet too much because he probably doesn't have a ton, to be honest with you. If he check raises all in here, it would be kind of crazy. Looks like we got called pretty quick. And ship that one. All right, we did it. Maybe we could have bet a little bit larger on the river, but all in all, I think I like how he played that hand. Definitely raising 2 9s here under the gun. Best case scenario here is Obama phone just ships it. I don't think anyone else shipping would make me too happy because our hand's not that good. I take it back. Our hand has become that good. Let's start out with a bet here. I think 1,500 is fine. Could bet like 12, 14. Any of those is fine. I think 15 almost looks the least suspicious, even though it's the largest. All right. Happy to see this. We could call, but I think shoving is fine. When someone check raises here, it's either got like totally nothing or they're just not folding. And I think I'd rather just shove. Instead of him having like 3, 4, turn as a club, he just folds. You know what I mean? Let's just go all in. And he's either going to fold this or call, drawing, you know, to either a flush draw or something. 2 outs for our friend over there. Not this time for him. All right, boys and girls. We've ran it up from 3,000 chips all the way to 43,500 chips. That's right. Final table, bitches. All right. Now, if I was really, you know, something, I would be like, all right, guys, see you tomorrow. Tune in for the final table. Not going to do it to you. Not going to do it to you. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get it done. $800. Let's add it to the bank account. Put it in the vault. You know, let's try to make it happen. So there's 140,000 chips in play, of which we have 40,000 of them. So we've got average with about 3 left, which is great. First all in a call here. Classic flip situation. I don't think we're really concerned about who wins this. Either way is fine with us. Looks like we would have been the ones to win it. All right, so we lose Obama phone in ninth. Don't think we really care either way whether which player won, and not like, again, nobody really asked for our opinion anyway. But Limey Britt and Poker Bob probably happy to see that, and probably these other two shorter stacks as well. Increases their chances of making it in here. Certainly going to be folding this. Poker Bob takes that down over there. Pretty key ship there. Blind's gone up now to 300, 600, so he really kind of needed to get some extra ammo. All right, so let's talk about what our strategy is headed into this final table. Who we know, who we don't know. We played with this goat guy a little bit. He was the guy that Jack 10 suited against the I'm trouble with aces. Gonna raise here, not fold if Poker Bob decides to do something aggressive. We know Limey Britt, we know the Poker Bob, we know the solution. We actually know all these players, right? We played with everyone here. So that's good at least. All right, we get stop and go here. He just owns us with his stop and go magic. We would have called pre-flop, but on that flop, I think we can just safely fold. No reason to put another 4,000 chips with Jack high. Don't think that we're going to have the best hand there often enough. I think if it folds to us, we are going to raise. I would expect that I'm trouble will try to re-raise us sometimes. I don't love having him on our left. Of all the players to have on our left, I don't love it, but I'm not willing to just give up having position. I'm not willing to just say, oh, you're on the button, I'm just gonna fold. You know, let's see him re-raise us a couple times. Let's see him attack us before we start giving him too much respect. All right, pretty good flop for the queen and the 5. Let's see if we can manage to get the rest of his stack. If he checks, we're going to bet like 1,200, 1,400, somewhere in that range. Oh, hi there. Okay. Going to need to sweat a 6 or a deuce or an ace. That'll do it, kids. So I think his play is fine. I mean, he's certainly playing to win by calling, you know, because clearly we're going to be opening a ton. So him shoving pre-flop, we're going to fold more often than anything. And actually, if you saw the Dan O'Brien heads up video that I did the other day, that's the exact situation where I re-raised. Excuse me, not the exact situation, but that's the situation where I re-raised and Dan just folded when I had aces. So I actually thought that, looking back over the video, that was one of the hands I messed up the most, and I should have just called. So I think he played his hand fine. He just got pretty unlucky, obviously. Don't see a reason to stop raising, just like the other table from before where we didn't really have a reason not to raise. I think I feel the same way here. All these 8K stacks are all in the same cage. You know, no one wants to go broke first. No one wants to get 7th here. You know, 6th is $130, 7th is 0. So no one really wants to bust, and the correct strategy does dictate actually playing tighter. This is a weird situation because if I'm trouble decides to do something, or even King Kush decides to do something, we're going to be tempted to want to fight back with this hand, and we would fight back somehow. Probably with calling, but potentially with re-raising. But looking good for us so far. You know, every time we click raise and we ship one of these, you know, what's in the pot, like 1,300? It's great. Obviously, it's amazing for us. Every time we click raise and it just folds through. You know, we're risking 1,200 to win 13 and change. So happy to be in that situation. Not folding to any shoves now from any of these guys. Calling is cool with us. Probably just going to be checking back here against the solution over there. Decides to not give us the opportunity. You know, I mean, we could have the best hand here. Could just have like 9-10 or something like that. But I don't think we have to risk 6,600 here to win 10K. I think it's just fine. We just let that one go. You got it this time. The solution. He is, you know, that's the solution. That is a solution. You can just say, I'm all in. And I go, okay, I guess you get it. Certainly going to be defending here with the king and the deuce. We could argue raising, which would be fine. We do allow him to ship it on us very easily, though, and I don't think that he necessarily is, but I think we can just check and see a flop. I don't think there's any huge reason we necessarily have to be aggressive here. We're in a weird situation now where we could have the best hand. We probably do have the best hand. I don't really want to bet because of the fact that we don't have aces too often, because if we had aces, we would re-raise pre-flop. But I don't think this opponent is on the level where he's going to put us in a situation where he's going to put like fake pressure on us because he knows that we know that he knows that we know. Like, I don't think we have to get into any of those crazy games here. I think that that's all pretty unnecessary. I'm going to definitely be re-raising, getting it in here with 2/8. In this exact circumstance, I think that we actually can still just raise, get it in here. I think pocket 8s are good enough that he doesn't expect us to be attacking, you know, blah, blah, blah. Looks like it didn't even matter. He's just like, call. My kind of player, you know? Who needs all the talking, you know? Just call. If he re-raises, we're going to just have to fold close to what we needed, but not quite. I think we just check the side, probably leaning towards fold. Maybe he checks back here every once in a while, which would be nice. He bets 1800 though, which is slightly strange. What hands do we beat right now? We beat deuces, we beat small pocket pairs that just called and then called. We have decent equity if he just has like jack 7 or something like that. I think we can call here given the price that we're getting. We have the best hand here often enough. Once in a while we just drill a 10 or an 8. Not that either of those necessarily are good, but you know, likely enough. Check, check, not loving our chances against the check, check, but okay, we shipped that one. I actually felt like when he checked back quick on the river there that we were most likely beat because he didn't think about bluffing, which means he probably had something, you know, so yeah, it wasn't loving our chances there, but worked out for us this time. I actually think this is another one of those good opportunities to raise and attack this guy. We've seen this guy raise fold against our under the gun re-raise before a couple of times, you know. We've seen him do this twice. He's raised folded under the gun to us. Once again, just like those other situations, I think that it's fine for us to attack here. Interesting flop. I think I'm going to start with a bet. I think that we want him to fold pairs, and I think he can do that. We want him to fold king highs, jack highs, stuff like that. So I think we want to start here with a bet. If he shoves, we just fold, obviously. We have 8 high. If he calls, we're in a weird situation between wanting to barrel and not. I don't love this tanking because I feel like it makes us not likely to win this hand. But okay, we get it done. King Kush over there, he was not playing poker. He was doing something else. He's like, oh, I'm stressing over here, bro. I don't know what to do with this Jay Carver guy re-raising me. All right, buddy, just, you know, relax. Enjoy your night, you know? Don't get too upset about me. I'll just do my thing, you do your thing, you know? If Poker Bob ships on us, we're going to have to call. We just have no choice. But, you know, he's not going to ship too often because of the situation that he is in with these other short stacks. All right, you got this one, kid. I'm not going to fight you every single time. The pickle jar wins this one. One for the pickle jar, boys and girls. Give that one over to King Kush 911 over there. So with 10-minute levels, I'm really liking the spot that we're in. Not saying anything. No guarantees on results, but I like the spot that we're in. You know, we kind of got a good situation going on here. Can't call this. Not good enough price. I think we just have to fold. It's not the worst situation to prolong this a little bit more, though. We've been pretty successful with our raises. We might have to tighten up a little bit because people are anticipating us being loose now. You know, we've lost to him. You know, we've shown down ace-7 against this guy in that one situation. So I think we'll take this one hand off. But, oh, my God, if a walk goes around, I will be all right. At least let somebody win. You know, walks, yeah, it's like, you know, oh, God. It's just so sad for me. You know, no one wins. It's not what I like to see. Folding this under the gun. So don't forget, regardless of what happens in this video, let me know what you thought about this one. This is a little bit different. 2-parter. You know, I won't do a 3-parter for you here. I'll make it probably a 2-parter. Although this video has been 50 minutes long, so I might break this into 2 videos same day though. I won't make you guys wait till Sunday or Sunday to find out what happens. So I might break it into 2 videos, but I'll release them within the same time period. So don't fret if this video doesn't come to a conclusion. I think it will though. I feel like I'm pretty committed to making this end here. Definitely going to be shoving here. This guy could definitely be raised folding. I don't want to make mistakes and just call. He could have so many 2 overcard combinations, and he might just fold them to this too. So certainly going to be shoving here. If he just has 2 10s and just like calls and crushes us, you know, whatever. We lose 10,000 chips and down to 50K. So looks like the shove worked out for us this time though. I will take it. All right, my plan here with King 3 is probably going to be to play this pot in some fashion or another. Gonna expect to see it folded around to us a lot. A lot. I guess we can call. I'm not loving it, but, you know, how bad could it be? Well, we have a 3 straight flush if we're being optimistic, and, you know, we're usually pretty optimistic. In our line of work, optimism is kind of required. But I think we're just going to end up check folding here. Out of position, you know, we have King 3. All right, we'll take this one off. Blind's going up to 400, 800, puts a lot of pressure on Poker Bob over there, though these two are also equally in the cage, or similarly. They're in a similar cage. Their cage got a little bit more room, like one of those like water bottles, you know, like they give to hamsters. But their cage, they're still in a cage. You know, no matter how you cut it, they're still in a cage. Definitely folding this. I was going to consider doing something aggressive against King Kush over there, who folds to the raise. Wow. Didn't think we were going to see that. Was pretty sure that King Kush was going to raise, call it off against the solution here, but instead, the solution, he gets it done, man. He's like the Rock. He's the solution. All right. Maybe it's Frankie Edgar, you know? Could be. Kind of the solution. Answer, solution. It's the same thing. That would be pretty sick if this was Frankie Edgar the whole time. Gonna start here with a bet. You know, we could have the best hand here. We have a 3 flush anyway. Even if we do not, we can maybe get things done. He called us very quickly. I think that he has more queens here than aces. He could definitely have some aces, though. Once in a while, he actually has hands that will fold to 2 barrels, like, you know, hands we beat of some variety. But I think that there's a chance if we bet twice here, he'll fold all his queens. All right, we're definitely over the betting game. We could have the best, we're chopping, obviously. We could chop here some decent percentage of the time, but I think that if he has an ace, he's not going to fold it at this point, although maybe he would for a lot, you know? He could have a queen, though, right? But he checks so fast on the river, and we win sometimes against all his heart draws. I mean, chop sometimes against all his heart draws, stuff like that. I think we just check. I don't know if he would have folded that hand. He probably would have folded it to a shove, though. But again, like, what do we have? We had a queen in bet twice. Wouldn't we check back with a queen there sometimes? You know, I think that there's definitely an argument to be made for bluffing that river, and I definitely bluff there sometimes, but I actually think that in that situation, we've been so aggressive against that guy, we've put him in so many situations that I think we can take that one off there. We're going to need some help. Decent start. 5 of clubs would be sweet. All right, going to need a 6 or a 7, otherwise Poker Bob will double up. Okay. Ain't no thing. Just lost a 3K or whatever total, which is not too bad. Doesn't hurt us too badly. Still got over a third of the chips in play. I think we'll fold this hand, though. Will we? Okay, I guess we will. I guess we'll take this hand off. So still not in the money. I'm so tempted to just wrap it, get in the money, and be like, all right, come back for the final 6. I feel like that would be such a tease, though. Like, as a viewer, fuck that, right? Come on, you guys agree with me. I know if I was watching, I would be pissed. Let's get some satisfaction, you know? Come on. All right, I won't do it to you guys. I won't do it. There will probably be a break in the video, though, at the break, because people are scared by long videos. So I'll break the video, but within the calendar day of Saturday, like, we'll release the first part at, like, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll release the second part at 3 p.m. Pacific time, something like that. So you'll get the full conclusion, and there will be no video on Sunday. How about that? There'll be 2 videos on Saturday, doubleheader Saturday. Maybe we'll do a stream on something or something on Sunday. I think we just fold this. I know. It hurts. It hurts me too. But yeah, that's the plan. So they'll do a 10 a.m., a 3 p.m. on Saturday Pacific time. So you guys will see the stirring conclusion Saturday 3 p.m. Pacific, assuming we cash. Excuse me, which would be something if we didn't. So if we make it to the next 5 minutes, which is the end of this level and the beginning of the next break, we'll wrap it up then, and we'll conclude the rest of this in the third video which will come in just 5 hours if you're watching this the second it releases. 5 hours later. Come on, Tell your friends. Say, come on, Jake Carver made a final table. Run it up. He could triple his bankroll. It's true. I could. $800 would be pretty sweet. Kind of a weird hand here. Didn't exactly watch it, but that guy did not win that many chips with pocket queens is all I know. Some tight play going on here. Good to know, actually, that this player was played kind of tight because we'll put more pressure on him in situations that we can. Definitely going to be raising here. Not loving it, obviously, if Poker Bob shoves, but Trouble hasn't done anything to aggressive towards us, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be attacking there. Maybe we should do a Dear J. Carver. How about that? We'll do one more Dear J. Carver for the road. We'll do a quick one. Hi, Jason. Oh my God, you didn't write Dear J. Carver, and I still read your question. Let's rewrite this. Dear J. Carver. Oh, Dear J. Carver. Any idea if Ultimate is close to having a real money app for iPad? Regards, John. I don't know. I know it's a thing we want. It's a thing we're working on a lot. It's a thing that requires some amount of technical finesse that people explain to me, and it's coming. It's happening for sure. Definitely sooner than the UK Ireland thing for sure. It's pretty soon. Like the other one was like, soon, who knows? This one is definitely within a reasonable amount of time coming. I'm gonna raise here. 2,800 seems fine. It's possible he does limp folds, but 2,000 chips more. This guy doesn't seem like the folding type. All right, worked out so far for us. Oh man. Okay. Well, you're probably drawing dead. Yep. Okay, well, the solution didn't get that one right. Looks like we've got ourselves some cashing here. All right, so with that cash, we're in the money now for $128.31 or more. Going to see what we can do here with almost half the chips in play. We did the math before. I think this was on this video. It seems so long ago now. Only 141,000 chips in play, so we've got a lot of them. Let's see what we can do with it. All right, going to start here with a bet. Checking would also be viable, but I think betting makes more sense. We win this hand more often if we just like bet, then check call, and maybe we have the best hand, maybe we don't. I think we just like betting that better. Worked out for us there. All right, so there are two guys who are really short. One guy who has a decent amount, and then these two guys still only have like under 20 big blinds. Certainly going to be calling here against the min raise with a call juicing it up. All right, so we've made to pair status, which we always know is a key ingredient towards any kind of messing around. I think I'm going to start with a call. I'm not loving it. We definitely could be behind, but we've got ourselves a great price and possibly the best hand, and I think that there's some chance we can win even if we don't improve, and he has a better hand than ours. Ace is not the thing we were looking for, though. Going to start with a check here. Maybe there's some universe where he just checks back with hands like King Jack, King 10. You wouldn't expect that to happen too often. It's possible he's bluffing us now with any of those kinds of hands, but we're just drawing so slim against Ace 9 that can't really contest it. Unfortunate turn card for us, but we were losing that. We were going to lose that once we called the flop. We were going to lose that a lot. So, we don't win that too often, but often enough, I thought. All right, so this guy shoves under the gun. He's probably shoving a decent amount. Ace-6 is one of those hands I'm not really loving calling. We could call and then fold to I'm Trouble shove. We're calling 6K to win 8K. I think this is close. If we had Ace-8, I would definitely call. I think I'm gonna just call here. He has a little better than this, but all right, it's a good start. We chop here a lot. Not anymore. Maybe this was a little bit too loose. The blinds are going up in 1 minute. 1 minute, they'll be 6-12, right? Not that he necessarily knows that. No, 5-1. Blinds are up in 1 minute to 5-12. Oh, I didn't get the TY. Well, that's a little... Yeah, okay, buddy. Nothing like being an asshole in a $50 tournament. You got me good, bud. You're right. Your ace-jack shove was just masterful. Oh, let's get this guy back. Let's get it. No, he's back to being nit. Richard Nixon over there just like, oh, I got my double up. Yeah, I'm going to fold my way to 4th place. Just you watch, Jay Carver. All right, bud. Whatever makes you happy, kid. Certainly going to raise this. A little bit of a tricky situation because all these guys have stacks to combat us, including Poker Bob. We can't fold this. We're opening so much. Like, it's possible he's tight and he's going to just have something better than this, but our hand is so good. We're getting a decent price. As much as I hate to give a chance to this guy to double up, I think mathematically we have to call. This is actually much clearer than the ace-6 thing, in my opinion. So let's run the cards, boys. Gonna need ourselves an ace. Ace or some diamonds or some running cards. Otherwise, we'll have generated... Oh! Pew! Pew! Oh my god. Alright. GG. I'm saying the polite pro thing, GG. Moron! Stupid Jay Carver! Sorry, bud. Unlucky. You played real well, though. Poker. What a game, you know? So there's 5 players left. There are five players left. We've got one guy who's got 5K. These two guys both got, like, you know, they're both going to have 20, 27, and 12 big blinds. We've got more than half the chips in play with 5 players remaining, so I feel pretty good about our chances. But, you know, hey, anything can happen in this crazy game of poker. We've locked up $149, so $100 profit already. So we're already up to, I think, our bankroll peak of $540 already. That is pretty sweet. So we're gonna take a break here. This video has already lasted an hour, so I'm gonna stop the video here. But in 3 p.m. Pacific time tonight, I'm gonna release the second part of the video. It's gonna be the video for today, Sunday, so it'll be about 2.5 hours or more of poker tournament, sweet run-it-up tournament action. Hope you've enjoyed this stuff. If you have, let me know in the comments below. Show your friends. Say, hey, look, Jay Carver played a tournament. Let them know how great this is. You want to see tournaments all the time? Let me know. I'll be happy to do them because, hey, it worked out pretty well for us, right? So thanks so much for watching as always. I will see you guys back here in just a few hours for the finale of Run It Up 44. Peace.